What's going on, guys? It's Mr. Green, and this is part one of my brand new free-for-all tips and tricks series. In this video, we're going to be covering the creative class setup you should use, and also the score streak setup you should use in order to do well every free-for-all game you play. Free-for-all is one of my favorite game types because of its non-stop, fast-paced action and somewhat unpredictable spawn system. It's a whole lot of fun to play when you don't have any friends on to play team-based games. So sit back, relax, take all this info in so you can see that victory sign at the end of every game. Okay guys, we're going to start with the creative class setup for free-for-all. The reason we're starting with the creative class is because your creative class is probably single-handedly the most important factor to your success in free-for-all. Free-for-all is a different type of game type than the other game types in the game. You're facing 7 other individual players instead of facing a team. You need to accommodate for this because it's a different play style, it's a different flow of the game, so you should change your creative class. This is my go-to creative class for free-for-all. It works extremely well. Notice how I have a submachine gun in the primary. I do not recommend using an assault rifle, a sniper rifle, or a machine gun in free-for-all. The reason for that is that the maps are really small in free-for-all. It uses only the smaller maps and it rotates them. So mainly you're just going to be playing on hijacked and a couple other smaller maps, and that's about it. So use an SMG. It's not to say that you can't do well with an assault rifle or sniper rifle, you know, if you're a good player, but I recommend an SMG. Notice how I have a suppressor as an attachment. Always use a suppressor in free-for-all. You're facing 7 other individual players. You don't want a red dot appearing on the minimap every time you fire your gun, which should be a lot because you will be running into enemies all the time the way the spawn system is set up in free-for-all. I use extended clip, but your second attachment should be up to you. Use whatever you want. If you have to use a red dot sight, use a red dot sight, but I prefer the extended clip. Notice how I don't have anything in my secondary, lethal or tactical. You don't need these for free-for-all. Believe me when I say that, you do not need those for free-for-all. You should focus on perks. The reason you should focus on perks is because of what everyone else is going to be using. Everyone else in free-for-all are going to be using lethals. They're going to be using their tacticals. They're going to be using the secondary. Notice in perk 1, I have hardline. Hardline is for getting your kill streaks faster. We'll talk about kill streaks in a minute. Flak Jacket is my second perk. You need Flak Jacket because everyone is going to be using claymores and bouncing betties. Let me repeat that. Everyone is going to be using claymores and bouncing betties. You're going to run into them all the time, and it's going to get you killed all the time unless you have Flak Jacket on. Flak Jacket is very important. Perk 2 is just your normal toughness. It's the only perk worth using in perk 2 tier setup for free-for-all. Don't worry about anything else. Perk 3, you're going to want Dexterity and Tac Mask. Dexterity is just a normal perk that most people use. The reason for Tac Mask is because along with those claymores and bouncing betties, you're going to run into shock charge after shock charge after shock charge. So you're going to need to accommodate for that with Tac Mask. I don't have anything in secondary, lethal, and tactical. You don't need them. You need to prepare for what everything everyone else is going to use. Okay, back to the weapons. Either use an SMG or a shotgun. I said earlier, don't use any long-range stuff. A shotgun can be very well for those one-hit kills. But when multiple enemies come on screen at once, it gets kind of hard because you're having to, you know, pump the shotty. Because the only shotty worth using in free-for-all, really, since it's small maps, is the Remington. Now, that isn't to say you can't do well with the KSG, but I definitely recommend the Remington. The SMGs are very, very, very good for taking out multiple enemies at once, and for those long, narrow pathways. You know, just killing people in those long, narrow pathways, it helps out a lot. So that's it for the class setup, guys, and then we're going to go and talk about the kill streak setup. Okay guys, for the score streaks, I have a few simple rules, and you're going to need to follow these rules in order to do really well in free-for-all because score streaks lay down the road. They build the road in order for you to do well. Score streaks are highly important. The first rule I have is that you must always use UAV in free-for-all. Most people don't use Ghost in their class setups when playing free-for-all, so UAV is extremely helpful. The second reason it's helpful is because the spawn system is horrid in free-for-all. If you think it's bad in domination, in kill confirmed, or in team deathmatch, play a little bit of free-for-all, and I promise you'll think that the spawn system in team deathmatch is like an angel compared to free-for-all. The spawn system in free-for-all is built so when you kill an enemy, it almost always will spawn them behind you or in an area close to you to where they can come back and to get the kill. UAV helps with that because when you kill somebody, you look at your radar and you might see a big red dot right behind you, and it helps you turn around and kill the person again. The second rule I have is that you must always use orbital VSAT. And you may be thinking, you know what, that's a little high on the kill streak list. I'm not very comfortable with that. I promise you guys, you can get to the orbital VSAT very easily in free-for-all if you use hardline and stick to the basics and play smart. You can get to that orbital VSAT, and the great thing about that orbital VSAT is that once you get it, it's game over. All the enemies are on your map at the exact location where they're at, where they're running, what direction they're facing. You know everything about them. It's game over for them, guys. If they're camping in a building sitting there, they probably have Claymore set up. You know that because you know they're sitting in a building just camping toward the doorway. You know not to go there. It makes it to where it's practically impossible for you to die. Now sometimes it can happen, you get unlucky, but with orbital VSAT, it's almost an instant win. Pair that along with a third score streak, and if you pair it right, it's an instant quick win. The third kill streak, I have a rule or a recommendation for. You should pick what you're comfortable with. However, I don't recommend using the Lodestar or VTOL warship or any other kill streak that takes you out of the game. The reason you shouldn't use Lodestar or VTOL is A, because they are very high on the kill streak list and they're hard to achieve, and B, because they take you out of the game. Your guy literally gets pulled out and he has to navigate this kill streak in order to get kills. Yes, you may get a lot of kills, though I doubt that may happen because in free-for-all, people tend to run to the buildings as soon as anything goes in the air. And B, your guy's going to be sitting there on the ground with a laptop out, basically saying, "Hey everyone, can you come kill me, please? I'm just sitting here in this corner with my laptop, and I really want to be shot in the head." That's basically what you're saying. So what I would advise you use is something that doesn't require you to come out of the game to use. I personally run the Stealth Chopper. It's a great score streak to put right before your orbital VSAT because you get the Stealth Chopper, it's a pretty much instant VSAT. Now the Stealth Chopper usually always gets me 5 kills a game. Sometimes it'll even get me 10 kills a game. You pair that along with your VSAT and your UAVs and it's almost a guaranteed win once you get there. Another thing you could use is Escort Drone. It works pretty well. Even though it kind of flies around you and can sometimes give away your position, it's still a great score streak. And the third one that I would recommend you use is Warthog. Warthog is a really good kill streak in team deathmatch and other team-based games, and it's a pretty good kill streak in free-for-all. People are running around and they're more scattered, so it's a little bit less of a good kill streak. But I'm gonna wrap this up, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If this helped you out, please leave a like and favorite. And this took a whole lot of time and a whole lot of work, guys. So I hope you enjoyed it, and comment and tell me all about what you think, guys. I'm gonna wrap this up. Tune in for episode 2. I'm Mr. Green. Have a good day.